Welcome to Grawlix Nights, the Grawlix Podcast live show. I'm Randy.
I'm Melanie.
And I'm Jesse.
What's up, everybody? How's it going? We're here. We're alive, and we're live.
Yep.
We're sick, but we're live. Not sick. Like I got cold. You might have noticed.
I got cold.
I got cold, guys. I'm fine. I'll live. Thanks for asking.
So, what Nick Cage movies are we talking about? We're not doing that yet.
All of them. We couldn't decide, so we decided to do all of them.
Have we hit Grawlix Nights 100 yet? I feel like we probably have.
Oh man, we need to find that out because I feel like that will be like the salt in the wound.
Right.
We probably have done more than.
Probably. I mean,
if we do them weekly, we're close. We're close to weekly. We've been fairly consistent. You know, we'll take a couple weeks here and there, but and we've been doing it. I bet we've done over 200 or over 100.
Yeah,
we've been doing it for like 2 years or so.
Right.
Yeah, considering when we first started, we were monthly.
Right.
Oh man.
I was thinking today because I was off and everything. I was like, man, it made me think of the lunch boxes that eventually brought us this.
Right.
Yeah.
Grawlix Nights is good imprint. I like the lunch boxes mainly because I liked the artwork I made for it.
That artwork was awesome. You made like a comic book cover. You had the lunchbox. I wish that was a real lunchbox. I would have bought that in a heartbeat.
Me too. Hey Savannah, that's okay. We're not gonna get too deep into Stranger Things, maybe, as we haven't all watched all of the newer season. You gotta watch Stranger Things. Savannah, you like any Stranger Things? You watch it at all? I don't know if I don't know.
I found out today that my nephew hasn't watched any Stranger Things, which is crazy to me because both of his sisters and me are all about it. So I'm like, no, you've got to watch it. What are you doing? Go watch it.
Right. That seems, yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about other stuff. And then also I would like to iron out. Maybe we'll do that now. But first, shout out. Speaking of Savannah. Hey, Savannah. 1 second.
Hello.
I had to mute myself. Hey, Savannah. Just wait. No, she's a supporter. She's a cat dancing supporter on our Patreon, patreon.com/GrawlixPodcast. You too could be a supporter at the cat dancing tier and get a shout out. Or, just get all the pizza. It's fine.
Yeah,
fine.
all the pizza.
That's our contractually obligated shout out. Now, we're going to talk about some other things too. And I would like to work out when we're actually going to start Nick Cage. I think this month. We should do a Nick Cage episode this month.
Okay.
I'm kind of thinking maybe we do one a month. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Is that enough? One every 2 weeks?
Yeah.
One a month?
Makes it special.
Right. Right, exactly. Can't be willy-nilly just throwing out Nick Cage
No.
episodes.
No.
What do you think this is?
Yeah, and we got stuff to do. We can't just sit around watching movies all the time. Shh.
Can't just sit around watching Nick Cage movies. We've got seasons of TV shows to devour.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Ken
Savannah
Burns
is
episode.
reminding us we have to do a Ken Burns episode.
And I appreciate that when we set up the pulled our strings stipulation on Patreon, we kind of assumed it would be people who want to hear us talk about things that the show is about. Comic books, movies,
right.
Nerdy movies, nerdy TV shows, historical documentaries. I'm gonna have to add that to the podcast byline. Comics, movies, TV, and historical documentary talk.
I mean, that gets nerdy. It's just not the nerdy we're used to.
It's a different nerd.
Yeah.
Different kind of nerd.
Yeah.
We'll do it.
We will. It'll be one of the episodes in the month. Eh?
Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross composed the original music on Ken Burns' Vietnam special. That sounds good until you got to Vietnam special, and then that sounds very
As I say, she knows how to sell it to you here.
I know. She does. I didn't know that. Man, those guys work. Those guys work. But anyway.
So
Hey,
today,
how are you two doing?
I'm sick, but I'm okay. I'm
Right.
gonna live. I'm gonna power through. We're gonna be. This is gonna be a great show.
yep, me too, powering through. Woo!
Yeah, we're gonna talk about Stranger Things. But first, let's talk about maybe a couple of the other random things we might have watched or consumed. And really, Stranger Things is only kind of the headline feature topic because it's Stranger Things.
Right.
Because Melanie and I also binged through, although it was considerably easier and much faster than watching through the Stranger Things new season or half a season, was Love, Death, and Robots. In the
Oh,
past,
yeah.
we've done full episodes on that, but I don't know. I don't hear a lot of people talking about it.
That's a shame, because there's like they like revisit some of the old shorts too.
Right.
Like I was shocked to see that there is another 3 robots, which I haven't seen any of it yet, but I'm pretty excited because I was like, whoa. I like me some Love, Death, and Robots. So.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I like this season a lot. It maybe every season this is true, but it felt like it was shorter. It went by much quicker.
Right. They established that last season where they were like not nearly as long and not as many, mainly.
I noticed this time they didn't have last time or season or whatever. Everything looked way more real. Like they were super pushing on real, or people were going for realism. And this time there was a lot more cartoony and stylized type stuff.
Right. Yeah, no, I feel like that might be just kind of a roll of the dice with who's doing shorts, but you're right. Last season there were a couple that there were studios or whoever it was that did those certain shorts were really pushing the edge on like
Hyper realism.
hyper real CGI.
Yeah.
Season 1 in particular had that one with like Topher Grace and whatnot, and we were actually like, is this real or is this
They cheated.
animated?
They cheated us on that
Yeah.
one. You can't put no
Right.
real people in there.
Right.
Although, Jesse, did you watch this season of Love, Death, and Robots?
I haven't. No. Nope.
Oh, I will say, and I don't know if they play them out of order like they did before, but the last one, the one with the like deaf soldier and the weird like water waif woman, visually mind blowing. It's bounces between hyper real and like weirdly off-puttingly surreal, and it's so weird. It's cool, but it's wild, bizarre.
Like they're actually playing with the Uncanny Valley.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Well, and like the motion looks so real. The lighting is so good. Looks very realistic, and at the same time, like the people, the textures are realistic. They almost look real, but but they're also intentionally stylized and exaggerated at times. And the speed, like everything's just like super quick. It's really bizarre. Pretty cool.
I like the meshing of the cultures there too.
Yeah.
Because it's the like Arthurian knight type people, but with like the Indian type of like dress, and well, I think most of the people probably were. But anyway, it's super cool.
It's like a Knights Bollywood fever dream
Yeah.
nightmare.
Whoa.
It's crazy.
But they're all pretty good.
Yeah.
Savannah's going on in the
Yes,
in the
yes.
comments about the new Fantastic Beasts movie. I haven't
Oh
watched
yeah.
any of them personally. So
I like the first one. The second one lost me. I had no idea what was going on in it. I'm hoping this third one will course correct that a bit.
Savannah says it was pretty good. Eddie Redmayne, Jude Law. Then the guy from the I Don't Want to Be Me typo music video plays a main character. Oh, nice
Who
pull.
plays Johnny Depp?
Probably that guy.
Oh, right. If he's... Hashtag justice for Johnny.
Right.
So, I think I mentioned it last episode, but if we want to talk about what we've been watching, I
Right.
got engrossed. I got
We
engrossed.
did talk about this. So,
I was following it,
yeah.
waiting.
So, do you feel like justice was served?
Yeah, for the most part. It's not perfect, but
Right.
I mean, he won all of his claims,
Right.
and she won one out of several counterclaims she made, which
Right.
feels like I think a compromise in the jury.
It seems weird too because it's like it was she won a claim that was based on something that the lawyer said.
Exactly. That's my whole thing. I'm like, what
Yeah.
is that? But that should be
That-
against the lawyer then, not against.
Right.
Yeah.
That's really all her claims were kind of related to that, because his lawyer, at some point, not his current lawyer there, but previous lawyer or whatever, had told the press some stuff, and it was all derived from that. So she sued on the grounds that he was working as Depp's agent, like, not like Hollywood agent, but like
Yeah.
speaking on behalf of.
Right.
I don't know, man. That seems kinda crappy.
Yeah, seems dicey, but
Right.
I mean, whatever. If you're gonna give her that one, I suppose.
Yeah.
Overall, though, I think definitely a win for Johnny
Yeah.
Depp.
I mean,
Right.
they're like whatever it is, the amount they have to pay each other cancels out, and then he still gets back whatever he had to pay her from the last trial they had, right? Basically. Or wait, that was a divorce. Never mind. Whatever.
Yeah, no, that was the divorce, and he had paid that off. And the last trial, she wasn't even. The last trial was the UK trial was against the son, so like she wasn't. She was a part of it, but she wasn't really part of it. Yeah, so Savannah says, I don't know. The whole relationship was toxic and extremely messy. See, that's the thing. Like, I was not invested. And for years, like, I was just like, I don't, generally, especially something like that, where it's not like it wasn't a bunch of women coming out against him and me tooing him. It just kind of seemed like messed up marital drama. And I was like, I'm not interested. I don't care. That's gossip. And I even resisted the trial. And then I don't know how.
I know how. I do.
How?
And
I
then
got
you
sucked in.
found out about the number 2. And you were like, "What?" Uh-uh.
What?
That's
No.
what it was, that and the finger. That and the finger.
Well, I'd heard about the finger. No, the number 2, that's such a... Oh, God. I will say, so I watched some live streams, a bunch of recaps, like every day. the last few
Right.
weeks.
You're not alone, man. You're not alone.
Oh, I know. Some of those live streams, like, they're 12-hour long live streams of court proceedings, millions of views. It's crazy. But in terms of a trial, it's also crazy because, and one of the streams I'd watched, it was like, they'd have commentary with lawyers, people who actually know law stuff. And that's kind of the best way to watch it, because they know how things go, and they're just like, this is not a normal trial. Like, this is so much more like spectacular and weird
sure.
than normal trials normally are. So it's good to get that insight, because like,
It seemed like Johnny had a lot more like backbiting, like grumble banter than he should be remotely
he had
allowed.
some attitude,
Right.
man.
Yeah.
He had some real attitude. Well, and like, so he was on the stand for several days, and then she was on the stand for several days, and then after that, okay, they're off the stand, and then before the end, like right towards the last few days, he goes back on the stand, which is not normally a thing, and then she's like, I want back on the stand, and she goes back on the stand, and neither of them really should have, because it was not good.
It didn't help their cases in either way. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Turner says they're both bat poo crazy.
They're both guano crazy. I
Thank you. Yes. Um. Well. Right.
Guano loco.
Mm-hmm.
Here,
I don't know.
here's where I stand. Not that anybody cares. Uh. I think he's Johnny Depp. Everyone knows he's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
He spent quite a bit of time in Hunter S. Thompson's basement on drugs to prepare for like
Yeah.
he's a weird guy.
Mhm.
And then he embodied how many Tim Burton projects? That can't be healthy for a guy.
No.
Yeah.
And he's a little like, not, I don't want to say pretentious, but he's very flowery in how he comes across and such. And so I think that there's potential for like him to be destructive and self-destructive. And then I think I kind of legitimately though I think she's a particular kind of crazy, which is extra destructive to somebody like that, I think. And I think she's more of the instigator, but they
Mhm.
both, it was not good for neither of them were great in this situation.
Right.
Right.
Whatever, nobody cares. Everybody's over it.
Yes, they're definitely over it. No one's still talking about it.
Turner says he's very entertaining. He is. I will say, okay. I kind of like him more now because I liked him in his earlier career because I liked the early Tim Burton stuff
Right.
and some of the other stuff he did. But you know, Edward Scissorhands, of course. Ed Wood is great,
Yeah.
and his career, in my opinion, I'm not a fan of where Tim Burton's career went. I don't like most of his later movies, and a lot of them have Johnny Depp. So I was kind of like, Willy Wonka, horrible, or Charlie and the
yeah.
Chocolate Factory. I hate that movie, and I think Depp sucks in it.
Right.
And I don't. Okay, take it easy, Savannah.
Yeah. Bye.
And I don't particularly care. I mean, the Pirates movies are fine,
Yeah. They overstayed their welcome, but
right? But
Yeah.
you know, they're in what was the one that bombed. Lone Ranger. I seen that.
oh yeah.
It was okay, but they're like huge blockbuster, family-friendly movies. That's not really okay. That's fine. Get your payday. Buy another island, but that's
Right.
not. You know, I'm not. That's not going to endure me to him. But seeing that, and I don't know which way it goes, but watching him, I feel like he's either built parts of his personality off of characters, or most likely built characters off parts of his personality, but he'll slip into different characters, and that's amusing to me. So I kind of like him more now.
That's probably why he can't watch his own movies because he's like, oh, I do that all the time.
Right.
no.
right.
Then again, that's also the whole point of the trial for him. I like him more now. I bet a lot of people do, including people who want to cast him in movies. And that's
Oh, yeah.
that's like dollar amount aside, that's like that was his ultimate victory.
Right. And, you know, some of the witnesses were kind of entertaining too.
Oh, it was wild. It was
Yeah.
wild.
Like
They had some crazy people on there.
that one psychiatrist, yeah, that was like a crazy person had taken over and was pretending to be a psychiatrist, and then came to testify.
Right. No, there's this one guy, an expert. They brought in, Herd's team brought in some weird people, but so I seen a comment was like, yeah, he seems like the guy who murdered the psychologist and took his place. You know, like
Oh wow.
he's
Yeah.
a weird dude. Anyway, I can't believe we're talking about this.
Yeah. Well, let's not then. Let's talk about something better. What else
There's
have we?
There's
seen?
some law channels that blew up
Yeah.
during this, and
Mhm.
I bet for some of them, now that it's over, it's gonna be real rough for them because they're.
Oh yeah.
they're
Is it the body language experts or whatever? I watched a few
yeah.
of those, and I was
Yeah.
like, "This is fascinating. This is fascinating." Even anyhow, but like, yeah.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know-
there's one of them. This Spider, He says his name is. I like him. I've watched a couple where I'm like, I don't know, this guy's a little over the top himself. But yeah, oh yeah, I watched some of them.
You know who else is like a body expert? Bernie from wait, yeah, Weekend at Bernie's. There you go.
Ah,
See, it's all about some body language.
You're right. That's also a segue into a thing we watched.
We watched it.
Why?
I
Why
don't
did we?
know.
yeah. What inspired you guys to do that?
It came up in conversation somehow, and then Randy's like, "Okay, now we got to watch it," and then we had to watch it.
Yep, and I found it. I think it's on Hulu maybe. And we watched it, and it's been a long time since
Yeah,
I
I
watched
bet.
Weekend Bernie's.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what that came out in, whatever it came out when it was too young. I remember though that was a cable TV classic though. I remember that was on the premium channels forever, and then probably hit Saturday, Super Saturday, Super Sunday on the network channels. So that was always on. It's so 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
It was nice, I suppose, because I had no idea any longer why they were there with the dead body, but I know they had a good time. But now I know why, and so yeah, that was fun.
I feel like it doesn't quite hold up.
No, it doesn't.
Weird. Huh.
It's first off, it takes way longer to get to the Weekend at Bernie's than I remember. They're in the city for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
longer than it needed to be. You basically sit through a cheesy '80s sitcom episode before you get there. Of like,
Right.
oh, he's taking her on a date, but he doesn't really have his own place, but he's gonna go there. And oh, who's that old guy walking around in his underwear in the middle of the night? Oh, that's my butler. Instead of his dad or whatever, because he lives with his parents. It's like, we don't need this. We don't need this
Right.
80s sitcom humor.
Yeah.
And it spends way too long on that. Well, and a lot of the humor is that kind of that level.
Sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There's some stuff I like though. It's fun. It's fun. It just doesn't hold up that well.
Yeah.
Right.
I still think, and this is why people remember it. What a bizarre and dark concept for
Yeah.
such a like irreverent 80s like fun time
Yeah.
comedy
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah. It's a romp comedy. It's not like what.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's yeah. I kind of want to watch the sequel now too.
Oh, God, the sequel. I don't remember anything good about the sequel, but like that actually that makes me think of one of the things I saw. One of the things I've been watching. We went and saw Top Gun Maverick yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Was it yesterday? No, it was Tuesday. Tuesday we went to it, and it is exactly the same movie in a lot of respects. Like it is like what if 80s sequels were good? Like
okay.
actually held true to the spirit of the original film and were produced well, because the second ones were never produced well. They never were thought out. They were just like churned out to make more money off of a IP they already owned.
Right.
And that's the way 80s sequels always were, and that's why they usually had about as much forethought or foresight as such and such 2, like Weekend at Bernie's 2. I don't even know if there was a sub, whatever. Revenge of the Nerds 2, Nerds in Paradise.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Maverick was at least as good as the original. I mean, like it's at least like everything about it is like the first movie wasn't utterly plausible, and neither is this movie. This movie takes that like unplausibleness and like kicks it up a notch, as you do with any good sequel, right? You take whatever happened in the first one and just make it a little more impossible. Yeah.
Right.
I know that I've seen it. I don't remember Top Gun, really. I know there was Goose
Yep.
and bad things happened, but
Right.
that's about it.
Yeah, I don't ever remember watching it all the way through once.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
I feel like that was a show that was on TV, Super Saturday, Super Sunday, all the
yeah,
time.
it was on all the time. Yeah.
And I know I've probably have sitting through beginning to end.
All the Kenny Loggins,
Right.
It's Highway to the Danger Zone, playing up with them boys as they're doing the volleyball shirtless. Val Kilmer is the Iceman. Val
So
Kilmer's in it, and
he?
like they made him look pretty good considering like dude can't even talk.
did you know he's gonna play Mad Mardigan in the Willow series?
Yeah, I'm curious how they'll do that too.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
were
I
just
didn't think he was going to, but yeah, that's crazy.
yeah. You don't. We watched the trailer for that. Yeah, we were just talking about that the other night. We watched the trailer, and I was like, "Ah, probably not going to have any Mad Mardigan. I don't think Kilmer's really acting." And I didn't realize he had throat cancer, so that's like his deal.
Yeah.
But then I was reading somewhere that he will be in it. He'll have a role, and one of the new main character, is his daughter or something. So that's kind of the tie. But it said he's very important to the plot.
Yeah, but he wasn't in any of the trailers because they filmed them on location and he couldn't travel because of COVID and stuff, and he's high
Right.
risk. So
Right. So he's probably green screened in a bunch or something, or some. Um,
I didn't realize before. I just thinking about it recently because of that how many movies Val Kilmer was in when I was young. Like I didn't really think about it, but I'm like he was actually in quite a few.
Oh yeah, he was a big deal.
Yeah.
yeah, in my mind I was always like The Saint is where he was like when he kind of blew up, right?
Sure, yeah.
But then again, like he was in a ton of '80s movies. And The Saint
Uh-huh.
was to late '90s.
He was in Top Secret, which was kind of supposed to be like the new Airplane movie or whatever, from the same people that made Airplane.
The one I remember him from the most was the Something Genius, where
Yes,
they were.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the one I remember him from the most.
Right.
But anyways,
But I think around The Saint was like that was probably peak Hollywood movie star making big bucks. And also,
That's like when everybody came back, right? Like, because John Travolta kind of came back around that time.
right.
Val Kilmer hit big again around that time. Christian Slater came back out of nowhere around that time.
and the
It
Saint
starred
had-
in a movie with John Travolta.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and in the Saint, Elizabeth Shue was in there, and I
Yeah.
hadn't seen her in a long while before then.
Right.
Oh, it's so interesting thinking about that. Think about their careers because Christian Slater came back, but then like his career, I feel like late '90s, early 2000s really nosedived again, and he was in a lot of like real B grade stuff.
Yeah.
But of all those three, and of course Kilmer's a little bit different, he was kind of taken out of the game. But Christian Slater pops up all the time. I see him.
Yeah.
I at least hear him all the time. He does a lot of voice work now. Of course, he's got
Yeah.
a very distinctive voice. It makes sense.
Sure.
But he's still very relevant, and I'd say his career is probably better now than it was at that point. John Travolta, is he? No, he's still in stuff.
He still plays and stuff. He's not as big as he was when he made his big comeback, but like he's still relevant. He's still working. He's kind of more like your Christopher Walken type now, where he's like he's just a working actor. And oh, hey, here's a property he's in.
Right.
I wonder. We looked up when Tom Cruise started in Scientology, and it was Risky Business and
Oh yeah, like his whole career is probably predicated on Scientology somehow.
Well,
Like they
fired
got
up-
him in.
We had fired up Netflix, and of course they have Top Gun, the original. So they splashed that up, and Melanie's like, "What movie was it when he became a Scientologist?" And
Yeah.
I was like, "I don't know." And look, yeah, '86, Top Gun, like right in the height of his '80s career.
Yeah.
And it was through his I think
His
were they
wife.
married? Yeah,
yeah.
Mimi Rogers.
Oh, so this is pre Nicole Kidman even.
Yeah.
Yeah. 86. I was like 86. Wow, I didn't realize. But he didn't like really talk about it till the 90s.
So, all right, anyway, since we had talked about that, I would just wonder about when what's his butt? We were
Travolta.
just talking about Travolta. Went crazy.
I mean, he's probably always been a little crazy.
Well, he better shape up.
Yep.
There was something else. we finished the Pentaveret. I know we had mentioned it before,
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
and I just want to say, basically, I've already said what I thought of it.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. It's weird. I don't know if it's good. I feel like
Yeah.
it might not be. The humor is definitely hit. Okay, the humor is so super hit or miss. But if you liked, it's appropriate '90s style Mike Myers humor.
Yeah.
It's like kind of dirty. It's not super dirty or necessarily super dark. Um, it's a little basic at times, the humor. But
I feel like a lot of those comedians from that era, like that's what they were good at, and
Right.
they're still there. Like, if
Mm-hmm.
you want to watch an Adam Sandler movie today, he's still running the same jokes. They're just not funny because we've heard them.
Yeah.
I will say I respect this though way more than anything. Like, I'll say non-dramatic Adam Sandler roles, because I know he'll once in a while do a real movie, Adam Sandler.
Right.
Like the Adam Sandler type produced stuff. The Happy
You
Gilmore
just have to say that
stuff.
because you love Punch Drunk Love, and that's the only reason you have to qualify it.
Well, actually, I was thinking more recently. I never seen it, but he was in that Netflix movie where he's like, oh, he plays a diamond seller, thief, or something. I don't know. That apparently is very good, and he's very good in it. And I was like, wow, a modern movie that he's good in. but I respect. I don't respect his comedy stuff now.
I think he's best in stuff that his production company didn't create. Like, if it's not a Happy Madison
Gilmore
production
or
or
Happy-
something, yeah.
Yeah, because that stuff's so bad. It's
He
so
needs a
bad.
director that isn't in his pocket.
He needs to stop just making jokes with his friends and being like, "Yeah, let's make it a movie so we can get some more
So we
money."
can go on vacation and
Yeah.
have it paid. But this Mike Myers thing, I maintain I'm super impressed with the production. It's weird. It has a mix of like at times it's like, oh, that's kind of the Austin Powers where it's like parody of like 60s spy stuff. But then like there's futuristic stuff, there's modern stuff, there's just weird out of nowhere stuff, and it's just such a mishmash of like style time period stylistically.
Sasquatch is there.
Sasquatch is there, and he just poops all the time. But there's also there's pretty decent social commentary. It's a little obvious, kind of on the nose, but it's good. There's some jabs at the butter emails and stuff like that, which is seem.
Oh, yeah.
There's a few jokes where I'm like, this was written a few years ago. I could tell.
Sure.
But, well, what was my ultimate point? But it seemed like a thing that's probably been hidden in his mind and whoever he wrote it with, their minds for a while, something they actually wanted to do. It has like, you can tell there's a vision behind it.
Mhm.
There's a lot of there was effort put into it. There's a lot of money in the production. It looks nice. And the jokes being hit or miss. There was one joke. It's just such a throwaway line that made me laugh so hard, and I don't know why. And I don't. I'm gonna spoil it because it's just they rarely cut away to it, but they have like a Alex Jones type character that they cut away to sometime, who is of course,
yeah.
played by Mike Myers, because
Yeah.
most of the cast is in this. And he has this line about, and there's a warehouse where they're keeping the dog Smiles, and it's just so left field. And I lost it. So for that joke alone,
Dog Smiles, huh?
they're keeping the dog Smiles in a warehouse in, I don't know, Nevada or something.
Mhm.
And I was like, what? How do you think of that? What is that? And I loved it. That was good.
You love absurdity.
I guess I do. So I'll overlook all the like stupid D and fart jokes and type stuff because that dog smile joke.
That one just got you.
5 stars.
Would recommend.
Yep. Okay, I'm sorry. That's a tangent. We have not
But
watched.
there's like so much TV happening right now. Like,
Mhm.
like if we were actually if we actually watched all the things,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
we're
don't know.
definitely in one of those in that cycle.
yeah.
There's waves of where just a bunch of stuff
Mhm.
comes out at once.
We got to go to the movies because I want to see
Doctor
what
Strange
Yeah.
the Doctor Strange.
and everywhere all the time all at once or whatever
Yes,
that's
those
called.
two. Those are the
Everything
two that I
everywhere.
I really want
Yeah.
to watch both of them.
I think you guys should, if you can, get to Doctor Strange before it's out because it's definitely a big screen movie.
Right.
Yeah, like same thing with Top Gun Maverick. It was like if you're gonna bother with this movie, go see it on a big screen because all the sound, it's big
Right.
jets and it goes, all that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
those definitely spectacle movies.
Right.
Mhm.
And
like,
Doctor Strange is one of those. It's visual. It's crazy. It's yeah.
Right.
Um,
Tuesday. We should go on Tuesday. We should do a double feature.
we should.
All right.
We haven't even checked out Obi-Wan yet, or Kenobi.
My
whatever
joke
it's
is
called.
that it's taken, except Liam Neeson's dead already.
That's a good joke. That's a good
I'm
joke.
sure I'm not the only one that's made that joke, but like I felt pretty clever because I was like, oh, he's dead.
No. You need to go. You need to go. Here's what you do. You go tweet that now, screenshot it, and that meme that'll get sent around.
Yeah.
Tweet it now, screenshot it yourself. You claim it.
Sorry, Obi-Wan. You're our only hope, I guess. Because Qui-Gon.
Oh wow! I feel like the Star Wars universe was made for Jesse puns.
I guess so. It's just so easy,
Mm.
effortless.
So perhaps in the future, when Melanie and I catch up on that, we can talk more about that.
We'll get to it sooner, Vader.
Uh,
Yeah,
I had to end on a stinker.
you
I was so far ahead. I couldn't leave it.
you hadn't got a groan out of Melanie yet, man. The puns weren't done. Puns aren't
Right.
done until Melanie groans.
Yeah.
Um, the Star Wars things are kind of hit or miss, right? Like if it's Mandalorian, I'm on it.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll talk about that episode by episode each week. But like other properties, I guess Marvel stuff is kind of the same way, where it's just like 'cause Star Wars just isn't. It's never been a franchise that I've been hardcore about. So unless it's Mandalorian,
On this one, it's like, I hate to say it because, like, haven't we had enough of this Skywalker stuff? But, like, it's good. It's
is
good.
it?
Yeah, like
I have not heard.
I'm
much
enjoying
about
what
it.
I've seen. What I've seen, what I've heard. There's a bunch of like Star Wars bros just ruining it again. Like being jerks about how like Leia is portrayed as this little girl, and there's another character that they're just like going after on Twitter to the point where Ewan McGregor has even come out and said, "This is nuts, and you guys should quit it."
mhm.
So, but there was like some social. See, I can see where they're coming from because these people are triggered by all this stuff, anyways. But there's some fun like social commentary nods that are like, "Oh man, this is almost a MAGA kind of rib here," where it's like
in your
like
Star Wars,
well,
that's a
it's like
little
this.
surprising.
Yeah, there's like
A little
this character
surprising.
that picks up Obi-Wan and on the back of his truck speeder or whatever, I don't know, like it's got like an Imperial logo like crudely painted on the back, almost what you'd be considering a tailgate, and I'm just like, oh, they're going this route with it, and the guy is just like, yeah, it's good to see people out here that are just, good solid Earth people that understand the Empire and, that kind of thing. Values. I was like, oh my
wow.
God, they're going there. Oh, Star Wars is woke. People are going to hate this. I love it.
Yeah, I'm kind of more interested to check it out now.
Yeah.
I mean, I was
Plus,
curious.
just like dour Kenobi is the best Kenobi. It's just like I hate my life, but I'm doing this because it's right.
That sounds fun.
Like, don't you talk about Jedis. You take that lightsaber and you bury it in the desert.
Oh, okay. I see. Yeah, cool. Well, Ewan McGregor, I was kind of excited. Like, I know he does stuff still, but I was excited that they got him back because it's like I like him.
Yeah.
He's not in enough things.
Yeah, he seems like a fun guy.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know. Like where it's going or if it'll end, if it'll stick the landing. But I mean, like so far, I'm pretty impressed with what I've seen so far. And Kamal Nanjiani is in it, and he's amazing. Like
Mail
they
call.
found the perfect role for him
Really?
in Star Wars. Yep. Oh,
Nice.
so good. I think you'll enjoy it.
We were talking about that a little bit in messages, and yeah, I love seeing him in these roles because I discovered him and his wife, Emily V. Gordon, through a podcast when I used to listen to podcasts nonstop at work.
Right.
They did a podcast about video games, and I didn't know they were anybody. At the time, he was just a comedian, and he was just a comedian, but he was mainly a stand-up comedian, and they hadn't made it big. They were there in Hollywood, and they knew people and stuff, but so they were moderately known. But it was before awards and before Marvel movies, so I know he's a huge nerd. So I love seeing him get these roles because I know he's probably he'll get one of these and just blows his own mind about it. So yeah, exciting. I wish, man, Indoor Kids. It was a good podcast. I wish they'd bring it back. They're too big for that, I think now though. They're probably too busy working out and.
I don't think I'd ever want to really be famous, but I would like to die in a horror movie. I think that'd be cool.
Oh, you don't have to be famous to die in a horror movie. There's a lot of horror movies full of people that get killed off, and most of them probably are not famous.
Okay, yeah, I suppose that's true.
Unless it's a Child's Play movie. They just
Yeah.
randomly kill celebrities in that kind of movie all the time.
That's true. That's true. That's one of the, if you're a celebrity, you're more likely to die.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, now that we've lost all of our viewers, let's talk about Stranger Things.
All right. Good. We
don't
were
have
just
to-
making sure.
We honestly don't have to dive too deep into it. Melanie and I did binge through the whole season. The whole half a season.
Right.
They make it hard. How are we supposed to talk about this? How am I supposed to promote this? Season 4.A.
Right. Yeah.
But Jesse, you said you finished the first 4 and
Yep.
had started the fifth episode.
Yes.
So you're a good ways through it.
Yeah. So I understand basically the big bad, the kind of premise. They're starting to understand how they might combat this evil force from the upside down.
I will say one of the few weak spots for me is because we were talking before the stream about Vecna, like why Vecna,
Yeah.
and it's like, well, because the Demigorgon, because they have the D&D theme. They're
Yeah.
so quick to be like, it's Vecna, a dark wizard. Like they're so quick to
Yeah.
assign this big bad before
Yeah.
really they have no proof that there's any.
This is better than the Mind Flayer, though. The Mind Flayer connection was weak. I was just like, okay, whatever.
Right.
It was less it felt less sentient, though. I don't know. It felt more monstrous and more just attached to will or whatever. But
Yeah.
Right. I guess the Mind Flayer was a little bit of a departure from the Demigorgon because it did have some sentience,
right,
but it still did just seem like a monster or maybe kind of a demonic force or something.
right,
And I was initially I had mentioned before, 2 weeks ago, whenever it is, I initially thought 3 when this because we were like, oh, that came out today on one of our streams. It didn't.
right.
Yeah.
But I was a little off put by the trailer because I was like, I don't know. I thought it was weird to have this they clearly had a big bad. And I was like, it's
Yeah.
a Marvel villain or something.
Right. Or a
So
Buffy the Vampire Slayer thing.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah. So I was a little nervous about that going into this one, but
And
I'm
then the
fine with
first
it.
episode happened.
They are channeling some hard Nightmare on Elm Street vibes, and I love it.
Yeah.
Well, and I was getting some huge, especially in the first episode, some huge Clive Barker Hellraiser vibes in the
Yes.
first episode. Like that one had me like shook. I was like, oh man, they brought back the scary for season 4.
Mm-hmm. There's even a point where they go. I think you have seen this one, Jesse, where they go to the one house with the door, with the
Yeah.
glass window, where there's a scene there where they walk in and it's the music is like do, 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 kind of a little bit.
When
bit of
it's
it.
lit kind of the same way, and it's like, ooh.
We're gonna avoid spoilers, and I don't know at what point this comes up, but I will say there might be a cameo by someone where I'm like, oh yeah, they're pulling some classic '80s horror influences for sure.
Oh yeah.
Well, just because, like I said, I was getting certain vibes, and then there's a cameo by a certain somebody
Yeah,
at some
yeah.
point, and I was like, I knew it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stranger Thing, it's so interesting. Like, I don't know what I'd compare the first season to, but they're so smart about how they've like each season has been like a sequel of sorts, right? But at the
Right.
same time, it's also progressed into like it's followed 80s horror trends a little bit
Uh-huh.
to where like there was the kid adventure stuff and that kind of continued on, but then it became a little bit more like blobby monster type thing. And now we're to the like dream stalker, dream killer,
Teenagers.
teenage
yeah.
slasher, Friday the 13th a little bit. There's even a bunch of stuff, and this is not necessarily. Maybe this is a spoiler. There's like they end up at a lake. So the lake comes up a bunch, and I'm like, oh, lake, huh? Sorry, it's not pivotal. It's just a
Right,
scene.
right.
There's
Well,
just
yeah,
location.
they're at a lake. There's also like a kegger. Some
Right.
of our heroes are really into the reefer madness. There's the satanic panic is a big deal in this too.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
the D&Ds. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Which I was like, oh, it so makes sense.
Yeah.
And the time in like they're good about progressing. Like they're in 86 now. 86 is so weird. It like keeps coming up. Top Gun 86. Anyway, they're in 1986 now, and that kind of makes sense with the satanic panic, but also like how prolific and at this point almost like about to run itself into the ground slashers were in the
Yeah.
Nightmare franchise, and just that like slasher slash supernatural kind of horror thing a little bit. Not so much like monster movies, but there's a lot of talk about like killing random teenagers, like why?
Yeah.
Well, they even reference Michael Myers in this one.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that guy is the devil. You know, that one who wears a mask like Mike Myers.
They reference Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's weird.
Yeah, at the breakfast table, I just saw that where they were like, "Oh, Freddy Krueger, he kills people in their dreams." Oh, it's a movie. No, it's not real. It's this little girl.
Right.
Jeez, Dustin, come on.
And it's weird. It's also, I mean, they're doing that, but they're also doing like parent movies, kind of. Well, my parents' movies, with the jailbreak from the Russians and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like it's just mushing it all in there.
Yeah, I guess because last season they brought in like the commies, the Russians, and like the eight, which was a big '80s thing. And yeah, you're right. It seems like this season they're embracing the cheesy, almost '80s action, fighting against the Russians.
I
Thing.
will break you.
Right. And I feel like other seasons probably did this, but it's interesting how intentionally separate
Yeah.
the three main plot lines are.
Right.
Because you've got not the older kids, you've got L. Well, God, it kind of splits into four plot
Was
lines.
this shot during COVID?
I think
Because
some of
that
it
makes
was.
sense to make
Yeah.
them kind of modular like that.
Right. I think it partially was. Yeah, because you've got all the Russia stuff, which is kind of like also branches over to Joyce and the amusing but ridiculous conspiracy theory guy.
Yeah, yeah.
and then you've got the kids in the main town, and then you've got the L stuff and the other kids,
Mm-hmm.
and they are very separate. But I feel like
Mm-hmm.
they're intentionally going to then weave it together. But I think you're right. I know they had filmed some stuff prior because they had released like a teaser before I think COVID,
Mm-hmm.
but there wasn't a lot of new footage. There was some Hopper stuff, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, I bet you're right. I bet uh, COVID probably dictated part of the shooting schedule on that.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't we just watch? Oh no, I just watched something. Jackass Forever. I watched last night.
Oh, wow.
That
You
was
guys are
part-
digging into some stuff.
Yeah,
Weekend at Bernie's, Jackass Forever.
and 4.5. I watched them back to back last night.
All right.
And that was like shot during COVID. It was one of the first, it was one of the first like kind of major productions. Jackass. It's it's a weird production, but that went back into work after COVID. So, and you can tell because it's Jackass, and half of it's like just behind the scenes footage of people messing around anyway. So
Right.
occasionally people have masks and stuff. But yeah, it's interesting
Mm-hmm.
to where it definitely impacted Jackass a little bit because normally there's no man on the street stuff really for
Right.
the most part.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Did they have to like protect their junk when they went and shook it around at people
oh no,
so that
you
they
can't
weren't?
get COVID from junk, so
Oh,
they're
okay.
fine.
Oh, okay. Right.
There's
right.
so much. Apparently, there's this is one of the might be the rated R movie with the most actual full frontal just dongs, just
Mhm.
dongs. Oh,
It's,
yeah,
it's the Dong Show, is what you're saying.
yes, thank you. Yes, we don't have to talk much about it. I was entertained enough by it.
I didn't see it. I can't watch that. I can't.
Okay, I do want to say one thing. There's a big opening sequence, right?
Sorry, I've got a pun for this. Is it too long?
No. There's this big ridiculous opening sequence where they do like a monster movie parody with like Godzilla, except instead of Godzilla, it's a dude's junk. They've got it painted green and have like a monster face and whatever. It's mildly amusing, but also like it's the whole package, right? Like they had the dude under a table stick up through like a miniature city, and then they cut it together with like some actual big budget filming they did. But the most amusing thing, and it's like you start and you're like, okay, yep, it's been a while. I got to get in the right mindset for this.
Right.
The most
They're
amusing.
just tearing the
thing is-
Band-Aid off is all.
Right. They have Netflix has Jackass 4.5, which is more of like outtakes and behind the scenes rather than like a director's cut. And actually, the most amusing thing about that opening sequence is something they said in 4.5, where they're talking about how everybody they had working on this sequence, makeup artists, choreographers, visual effects guys, they're like, they pulled the top tier, the highest of the high, AAA Hollywood talent, like people that have worked on massive big Marvel movies and massive big budget classics since the 80s, like just, and they named off a bunch of movies. It's like we had the guy that did the makeup for this movie or whatever, and then they show him and he's airbrushing a dude's junk, and they've got a miniature city, and the guy's like propped up underneath with his junk stuck up through like the table, so it's like sitting there, and it's like we brought on all this top tier talent to make this.
Yeah.
And that was the most amusing thing out of the whole movie is
Right.
that little tidbit behind the scenes. So
It's so Andy Kaufman. It's like an Andy Kaufman move, Like, I'm gonna get all these people together, and I'm just gonna read this book to them.
I was always curious, like Spike Jonze was always super involved in these movies, and I was like, Spike Jonze, like he directed Being John Malkovich and what's some he worked with I'm losing names, that guy a bunch that wrote those. He directed adaptation, and he's directed a bunch of things that are like kind of art house a bit,
Hmm.
Right.
and I was like, but he's also super involved in a bunch of the Jackass stuff. It seems so weird, but now that you mention it, like, I bet that's part of the deal for him. He's just like, yeah, uh, bring in like high quality Hollywood talent to make this just horrible stuff.
Oh, he made
It's
the
garbage.
the Where the Wild Things Are movie in
Yes,
2009, which was super weird.
right, right. I remember being kind of let down by that movie for some reason, but I don't recall why.
Well, I mean, like it's such a short book, and they just
Right.
like turned it into. I mean, like they turned it into a story about how, you know, being, like how you express your emotions as a kid, kind of thing.
Hmm.
And it was like way too cerebral for just a beloved picture book.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, and so I was always interested, but now that you mentioned that's kind of like an Andy Kaufman type thing to do. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, that's probably kind of this guy's interest in just because it's so counter. Anyway,
Oh man, he's involved. He's involved in. Oh, he's an EP on Dark Side of the Ring, which is a pro wrestling thing, but it's like a reality show about some of the worst things that have happened in pro wrestling, like super
Hmm.
real.
oh, interesting. Wow,
Yeah.
what a weird diverse like. He's one of those directors that came from out of the '90s that came from music videos, and he had done that Weezer Buddy Holly video that was
Oh,
super
with
popular,
the
but
Happy
it
Days people.
Uh-huh.
with the Happy Days people became well known because for the effects and stuff like that. He did that
Hmm.
video.
Yeah, I
Um,
remember that. That was good.
I think that was his big in to Hollywood.
Uh,
Yeah, he's got writer credit on BC Boys story documentary.
That makes sense. Yeah. Um,
well, I don't. I mean, I like the Weezer and whatever, but I don't like things where it makes me uncomfortable because it makes people uncomfortable, and I live vicariously through the things I watch. As Randy
right.
like was pointing out earlier in our discussions before we started recording, I uh I get very animated with
So
Oh yeah.
the
the end of
characters.
episode, the end of episode 4 of Stranger Things, which is around where Jesse had left off, um, in his viewing of it so far.
It's pretty intense.
It's intense, and it was hard to watch with Melanie because it ramps up the tension at the end dramatically. Um, and she's not just animated; she's animated and loud, and like the more she's like arms flailing, jumping around on the couch, and I'm like, I'm trying to be in it, and I'm sitting
Yeah.
next to her, and she's, "Ah, no, no, no. I'm just like, okay, calm down. uh, yeah,
I can't help it though. That's how I get. I mean, have you ever seen me bowl? I literally
no,
like lean and like shake my arms trying to get the ball to go the direction I want it to go. And that's
it's
just
like
a ball. I mean, that's not even entertaining, you know?
it's like that. She has a game where you have to like turn the phone to like keep these things from hitting
Oh
things.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And watching her, I'm I'm not making fun. Watching
I
her play it is so fun though.
I
It's
get very
she, she like
Oh sure, sure, sure.
knocks herself.
Well, you'd be like one of
over
those
trying to,
people like back in the day playing Mario Brothers, and it's like you wouldn't just push the button and jump Mario. You'd
yeah, I had to
take the
jump.
whole
Yeah.
controller and jump it at the same
Yeah.
time that you're pushing the button. Yeah,
That is
I
If
get you.
if I was sitting, if I was standing, I would like jump.
Oh,
she's so into it. She's connected physically.
right,
It's
right.
beyond emotional.
You were a
connection.
Wiimote before there was the Wii.
Yeah. Oh
Right.
man, watching somebody in a movie like drown, I'm like, it's horrible.
Oh,
So yeah, the end of episode 4 was she was. It's intense.
Yeah.
It was good though.
Sorry.
I thought it was really good.
Sorry, I'm annoying to watch stuff with sometimes.
They legitimately jumping back for a moment. Stranger Things. They legitimately made me worry several times. And I'm just gonna speak up to episode 4, so I'm not hitting spoilers for anybody. That they're gonna kill people. They're gonna kill significant
Hmm.
cast.
Right.
Um, I was worried for the person in question on that episode for sure.
Mhm.
Sure.
So like Melanie's investment was warranted because like
Mhm.
there's I don't know. I still feel like it's one of those shows where you're like they're not you can't. Like there's certain core
Right.
cast, right?
Right, but
Mhm.
then there's other cast that's like you're important, but are you that important?
Right.
Like
Oh,
uh Robin, she came in last season.
right.
Mhm.
I think I like her still. I think she's great.
Yeah.
I could see her them still I could see them offing her though because
Right. Right.
she's like kind of core but not really core.
Right.
Max though is a great addition. What season
Mhm.
2 I think she came in
Right.
and they
Mhm.
better not.
They
Yeah.
better not.
Because
Right. Right.
she is essential
They
core to
offed
me.
Billy though, and they're just like flirting with
Yeah.
that idea, you know.
Yeah.
But honestly, as far as the kids go, or their teens, whatever now, but I think she's one of the better actors. I think they would be dumb to get rid of her, but
So let's talk about the Wolfheart kid. What's his name? Wolfheart. Who plays? Is it Mike?
Oh yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah.
Who was kind of like the main character in the first season for the most part.
yeah.
Mhm.
This is gonna be mean. He's grown to have such a punchable face.
Oh
He's,
sure, yeah.
he just seems I don't know why I'm projecting it on him, but this season and last season, he doesn't seem very likable to me.
No, he's less
Mhm.
likable. Like I think he was more likable in the Ghostbusters movie. Did you guys see that
I
ever?
hadn't seen that one.
Oh yeah, he's more likable in Afterlife
I wonder
than
what it
he
is
is in
because
this.
that's real recent as well.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It feels like he's either they unintentionally or intentionally made him. It must be unintentional. Made him less likable, or what? Or they find him less likable, so they're leaning away from him because he's not really that pivotal. Pivotal for the most part.
M-
He's still there. He's part of the gang.
Well, I was thinking maybe it is intentional for that reason because they don't want him to be the main character. So they're like, let's make him a little annoying and get them to try to focus on some of the others
Well,
because
they don't
it's
want it to be paradise with L, you know, or
Mhm.
11.
Right.
Like if
Right,
everything's
that's a good
sunny and roses there, then she has no motivation to do anything really.
Mhm.
Right.
I
Should
think
we
that
get?
they gave Will the same haircut for every movie because he grew up so far to be by far the most attractive of all of the boys.
So they got to like nerd him up more because he
Yes.
looks too good.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
I feel like I
Him and
get that
well,
he,
Lucas too looks. He's a good-looking young man. So
Hmm. Yeah.
but they give him the like
The high top.
yeah, they
high
gave him
top.
the
It's so
high top.
good.
Yeah,
It's so good because it's like whoa,
Yeah.
that's commitment
Man,
with the
Right.
high top.
I remember being in school when the high top was a thing and standing in line for like the scoliosis test or whatever. But first they do like your height and whatever. And I was behind a boy that had a high top and they had to smush his hair down to get his actual height. He had 6 inches of freaking hair, man,
Yeah,
that they
yeah, I
had to
believe it.
smush down. That's crazy. So like way higher than any of my bangs ever were in the 80s.
But I wish they would, and I get that they're trying to keep him nerdy, and also it's kind of been a character thing that since the first season he's been kind of stunted, right? And they need to. He's too much of a man. They need to get that haircut off him and change his clothes. Like
Hmm.
he looks out of place because they've got him dressed like a nerdy little boy, but he's clearly that's a large man frame. Like they need
Yeah.
it looks comical. Like
yeah. He's so lanky. Yeah,
He-
he's almost as tall as what's his name that plays Jonathan.
yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
He looks
Yeah.
like he could take almost anybody in the cast except maybe Hopper. Like
Right.
he's not the nerdy little
Mike.
kid.
Mike is just like
They need
he's like you turn that music off, Mister Roller Skate Rink Disc Jockey, or I'll break your arms. You'll
Yeah.
never play. You'll never spin a disc again. Hooah!
That reminds me. I know this is not something I usually do, but Melanie sent me a meme. And I'm sorry, you're saying something, Melanie. Keep talking. I'm just gonna pull this picture up, and I'll share it in a second.
I'm not even. Oh, I was saying they need to swap out some of the characters' locations for their benefit and have like Will go out or go back to Hawkins and have somebody else go out to where do they live? Are they in California or something? I think so. Uh, they should swap some people around, and then I think maybe they'd be a little more normal than they are right now. Because I mean, yeah, he was stunted. Then you send him out to California where he has no friends and knows no one. That's going to help him mature. You know.
Right. So okay, I want to share this before we move on. This got such a laugh out of me when Melanie sent it to me. Share screen. It's so
Perfect.
good.
Perfect. Yeah.
It's so good. For audio listeners, this is gonna be totally lost on you, but just a meme, and it's got nobody. They say nothing. Dustin in season 4, and it's a picture of Arnold from the '80s with feathered hair
Yeah.
and a trucker cap, and it's
Mhm.
like it's kind of appropriate.
Right.
Yeah.
He's got the tooth gap. It's so funny to me. Anyway, what do you guys think of the additions to this season? Because I'm not wild about most of the new characters. There aren't too many.
I
It
just
was
don't-
really just like
There's the
Mr.
stoner-
Hellfire Club guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eddie,
Eddie.
and the stoner guy.
Right. Oh, yeah, the
Yeah.
stoner guy. And he's a little much. Like, there are times when I like him
Mhm.
fine, and then there are times where he's just way too much.
Right.
I kind of feel like Eddie's the same thing. Like both the characters are kind of over the top.
Yeah, but if
Right.
I had to pick one, it'd definitely be Eddie.
Right.
That you liked or disliked.
That I liked. And
Okay.
Jonathan, I don't know what he's doing with his life, but he's wrong.
Right. Right. There's conflict or kind of conflict there
Yeah.
with him and Nancy, and after the one scene where they're out in the desert and he's talking to a stoner friend, Melanie's like, that feels very manufactured. I was like, yeah, I
Yeah.
kind of agree.
Yeah.
They gotta, because they want to reignite other flames, maybe.
Maybe. But I mean, like, they're just like, if everything's perfect, then there's no drama. And if there's no drama, then
Right.
how do we remain invested? You know, like, it's a thing. Plus, it's very 80s, you know? Like, they did that all the time. Karate Kid, part 1, part 2. Daniel's got to have a new girlfriend, you know?
Mhm.
Right.
He can't carry over a girl from one movie to the next. It just doesn't work, you know? From
Right.
2 to 3, Yukio had to stay in Okinawa anyways, so.
Hmm.
Overall,
Yeah.
though, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say I am enjoying this season very much. I love how long I love that the episodes are longer.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to wait for the second half, but it's maybe good, or else we'd be done.
When
with it
when
already.
does it come? It's coming. Not
Like
that.
July or August, I think.
Yeah. Like, we don't have to wait long.
They timed it so they could be like, school just got out. Stranger Things. School's about to start. Stranger Things.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of a clever business model, to not just be the blockbuster of the summer, but to be, the blockbuster of the whole summer, and then
Yeah.
even stretch it out into the fall a little bit. So everybody's going back to school getting Stranger Things lunch boxes. Yo.
Yep. My niece has a Stranger Things blanket, and I kind of want to steal it because it's comfy and it's cool.
it's interesting because it is like it's kid friendly in the way that 80s R-rated horror movies were kid friendly, where it's not,
Right.
but it's also like they know they're watching.
Hmm.
Also, the kids that started watching it have grown up, so has the content a little bit.
Hmm.
Like, there wasn't just a bunch of obvious stoners in season 1.
It's better though because it's not even like the like USA Up All Night where it's like, oh, it's all the bad things, but oh, we're gonna cut this one scene real quick where you see some nudity, and then this one real quick where somebody's head gets chopped off, but you get all the stuff in between to like use your imagination to make it worse.
Right.
It's not like that, at least.
Okay, so right, like they never do nudity in these shows or anything like that. There's
Yeah.
like the sexual content isn't, it's wholesome enough in that respect.
Right.
Well, it's just the whole thing of like they pick and choose like the elements to pull. They didn't there's a lot of sleaze in 80s horror movies,
Right.
and they didn't pull any of the sleaze, you know.
Mm.
Um, there will be a season 5, uh, and that'll be the end of it. Apparently, episode 9 is nearly 2.5 hours long.
Jeez.
Wow.
Huh.
Episode 8 is an hour and 25 minutes. And this ended on episode 7, which was about the same length. Where is...
Is it just 2 more episodes?
No, it's going to have fewer, I guess, but I don't know that it's just... Oh, maybe it is 2.
Well, because it seems crazy to have a like movie length episode if that's not like the last one or one of the last ones at least. Because like almost should be 2 parts to that.
July 1st.
Hmm.
Okay. No, it will be just 2 episodes, I guess.
Okay.
The final 2 episodes of season 3, Stranger Things season 4, are set to premiere July 1st.
Well, then in that case, it's a good thing that that last one is 2 hours because I don't see how they're going to wrap this up in that short of amount of time for just like the one episode.
That's such a weird. It's weird to do it that way. I wonder. I wonder why. Because there's definitely been points. Like there were points a couple times in some of these episodes, where I was like, "Is that the end of the episode?" That definitely seemed like the end of an episode, and then it keeps going. I was like, "Oh,
Oh yeah,
okay.
they've been playing with that. I noticed
Right.
that. Whereas like they'll do just a complete screen blackout, and you're waiting for the credit to roll, and then something happens.
right, right."
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
if
that's
it's not
definitely a thing they're doing on purpose.
Yeah, if it's not a horrible cliffhanger, it's not the end of the show yet because
Right.
they've been doing that over and over.
I will say, whoops, don't play. I don't need to play it. Okay. I'm sorry, I had Netflix open as uh I was worried that this first volume would end on a horrible, horrible cliffhanger. And it doesn't really. I'd read somewhere
Huh.
that like it just ends in the middle of things. And I don't feel like it does. I feel like it ends in actually a pretty good spot. There's, I'm not going to get into spoilers, but there's a kind of a big revelation, which I personally didn't see coming at least before that last episode.
Hmm.
And once, later on we can talk more about that because it's kind of a big thing,
Mhm.
but I won't get into it now. But I think obviously you're like, oh, I want to watch more, but it's not bad. I feel like there's worse cliffhangers in between some of the episodes previous to it
Right.
that I'd be more kind of annoyed with if they
Mhm.
ended the first volume on that.
Hmm. It seems like the kind of place where a series of books would end to me.
Right, right.
Huh.
I
Yeah.
mean, there's definitely none of the plots are resolved, right? But it ends on a big like revealing of information, which it feels more satisfying than just like so and so's the the doctor's literally hanging from a cliff by his
Right.
question mark cane.
Right.
Why is he on the cliff? Because he crawled over on the edge of it for no reason. We need a
Oh
cliffhanger.
God, yeah. What was that? Yeah, no, I know
McCoy-
exactly which one
Sylvester
you're talking
McCoy.
about.
I can't think of the story.
I remember seeing this cliffhanger.
It's so bad. Anyway, that's like the go-to worst example of cliffhanger. But
Hmm.
or a movie with Sylvester Stallone called Cliffhanger.
Yeah, that was very impressive to me actually. People that can hang off a rock by like one hand, that's amazing. And kudos to anybody who can do that. You're a superhero.
That's a recurring theme this season. I like. There's a lot of talk about like superhero. You're a superhero, but then like when it gets into it, it's more about like that's not life. It's more black and white, and that's whatever. It's fun to inject just enough realism into something that's otherwise ridiculous. The show goes so ridiculous at times.
Yeah.
Did you get to the bit where they go? I don't know if you have. They go to visit Dustin's girlfriend.
Oh no, I've only seen her in the very beginning when she helps change his grades.
Yeah.
That's her only scene so far.
I feel like they end an episode where they like show up at her house, and not even this is.
Isn't
I guess,
she in Canada or something though?
No, she's somewhere in the States, but it's far away. But it's
It is like Utah or something.
Dustin's not with him. It's
Oh, it's the other
the
group.
other group,
Yeah.
and it feels it's like. Did we just step into a kids like an '80s kids movie? Like it's just such a tonal whiplash all of a sudden, where it's just
Yeah.
like ridiculous and over the top and cheesy, and the music's like cheesy. It's like, what happened? Suddenly we're in a different movie.
Mhm. But that's kind of the thing, though. Like I said with the Russian Parent movie, or I guess it's not Parent. Maybe it's something my older sisters would watch. But
Like A Hunt for the Red October or
Yeah,
something
exactly.
crazy like that, yeah.
yeah. So they're just trying to stick as many different '80s tropes in there as they can, maybe.
Right. It's interesting. I know that's kind of a spoiler, but not really. It's not like
No, I assumed she would
Dustin's
probably play in
girlfriend,
again.
You ruined
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Oh no, she's gonna be back. I'm so surprised.
Hmm.
I forget because there's characters acting in a way. There's certain characters that act in a way. I'm like, wait, did they not know about anything that happened in the last 3 seasons? Like some of the parents still. I'm like, didn't the parents
Yeah.
kind of know? Like, remember-
Not Mike's parents. They
Okay.
were so other than the one mom was kind of into Billy for a minute. Like
that's their only like
that's the
connection
only
with any of it.
yeah.
Huh?
That's
Yep.
weird because it feels like there was like scientists or people that had to have come and interacted with the townspeople, but maybe not. I don't know.
11 flipped a van in front of their house down the street. Like, what did they think happened?
A
Yeah,
squirrel?
there's definitely characters where I'm like, wait, why are they acting? Don't they know? Do they really not know? Like, it's been a while since I watched the other seasons. And Dustin's girlfriend's kind of one of them where I'm like, wait, why are they being coy with her? Doesn't she know?
Oh yeah.
I guess.
Well,
not.
she was only in the last season, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was only in that one scene where Dustin's like, I really need your help with this one thing, and she's like, not unless you sing the song.
Hmm.
Right. So she didn't necessarily know what they were doing. Just that.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Weird. What's up with the parents? I guess that's also an '80s thing. Like the parents just
Yeah.
don't know. It's just easier to write it if the parents aren't
are just clueless. Yeah,
I think
But
that's kind of
also-
realistic, actually.
that. Right.
yeah.
My parents let me get on a bus and go to the mall when I was way too young to be getting on a bus by myself and go to the mall.
Elliot, like E.T. Elliot's mom didn't have any clue there was an alien living in her house.
That's true. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, because there's times where like if you see the gang roll up, I would think even some of the adults should be like, "Oh, no, they're fine. Let them go. They'll
Right.
take care of it." But there is one scene where a weird thing happens and Nancy's standing there and the gang rolls up in a car even though they hadn't really been talking at all, and they just like
Oh, yeah.
step out and look at her and she's like, "Okay." I
Yeah,
get it."
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
She just knows. She's like,
Yep.
"Oh, this is happening. Okay."
Right.
I like that. I feel like
That was a
there's more
good. That was a good scene. I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I feel like there's more characters that should know to do that.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah. Do you know, or we were trying to remember the teacher from their middle school.
Oh yeah.
What
Huh.
happened to him? Did he?
I don't know. Is he still just at the middle school? Is that why we don't see him?
Maybe. Yeah, I was wondering partway through. I was like, "What happened to that guy? Is it just because they're in
Yeah.
high school now? We don't. He's not."
I'm guessing so.
relevant?
That would be cool if they did incorporate him. Like the one character where it's like, if she didn't know by now, like Lucas's little sister, like
Right.
she kind of doesn't want to know, but also like it seems like she should know.
I thought she was pretty involved with that last season, but I could be
I think she
wrong.
was too. Maybe she wasn't. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think she knows a good portion at least.
right. I guess.
She's fun. I think kind of
Yeah,
character.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
glad
glad
she's.
they still incorporate her.
Mhm. Um, I guess it would make sense though to get. I mean, not that the adults can do much, but I feel like the story so far is that like it benefits the plot that there are not many adults on their side that know what's going on or know that weird stuff happens. Um, yeah. Anyway,
Yeah. Still,
we're
you you think they'd be looking for them a little more often, but especially in this circumstance where they're like, somebody's killing teenagers. I haven't seen my kid in 3 days, but I'm sure they're fine. You know.
You're right.
well
And they
without.
mentioned Barb. That poor Barb. Like she'll
I
just
know.
forever be the just the ever since Barb.
Mm-hmm.
Justice for Barb. Forget Johnny. um. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, I like it. I love the Nightmare on Elm Street and Clive Barker. Yeah, there's definitely like a Hellraiser feel with that one guy a little bit with I don't know what he draining people or whatever it
Mm-hmm.
is he's doing.
Yeah.
Um, good stuff.
And the way
It's
he kind of gets strung up by those tendrils too
Hmm.
is just like
mm-hmm.
very.
Yeah.
They know
Yeah.
they're good about pulling influences without being direct clones
Right.
because the Clive Barker stuff, the Nightmare on Elm Street stuff, and the slasher stuff too to a point, but like that feels even less so. Like it's there, but they're still doing. It's not like oh, it's a dream slasher. Like they're still doing their own thing.
Mm-hmm.
You
Right.
know.
Right. Like they have the character will be up there, pressed against the ceiling, and you're like, oh, this is totally a
Oh yeah,
Nightmare on Elm
duh.
Street nod. But then they just go full body horror, contort,
Right.
crack,
Mm-hmm.
kind of slasher style stuff.
They
Yeah.
watched the remake of Suspiria. I can tell you that much because every character has that certain like jaw break,
Oh, the
which
jaw
is just
break, yeah.
like repulsive.
Ugh.
And the first time I seen that really in a movie was Suspiria,
Yeah.
and the remake of Suspiria, and
But
they seen that. I know they watched that because that's there.
you know what makes it really scary though is that most of it is based on science, and that is amazing because
Well done.
there is a team of physicists, excuse me.
You know,
Um,
Melanie, you know, it'd be really amazing if there was even more similarities to Stranger Things.
there is. I'm going to get to that.
Oh
Okay,
my
so there's
gosh!
there's a team of physicists that have discovered a mathematical property that would allow for universal expansion at a faster rate without contradicting cosmological models. So right now, the Hubble constant, which it is supposed to say how fast the universe is expanding, um, it has some discrepancies with the standard model and the cosmic background or microwave background that is everywhere. But this news research goes to this old theory um, that there is a mirror world whose particles only interact with our own via gravity. So they find that if you apply the symmetry of that, it would allow for scaling the gravitational free fall rate, and it would still maintain the mean photon density, which is like one of the major problems right now with the constant Hubble or the Hubble constant, excuse me. um, so the mirror world theory actually has been around since the 90s, and there's a whole bunch of literature about it, but they've never tried to apply it to this. But now that they have, they're like, yeah, no, this would totally make everything work together. So there's probably a mirror world, and we only interact with it through gravity and nothing
I'm never going anywhere with that headphones on again.
else.
I would play Kate Bush all the time,
Right, right.
every day.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Maddie D, you are late. What's up, man? It's actually we're going well. Okay, whatever. We're probably at a standard time, but we're going a little long. So,
Right.
hey, Matt. Well, you know what? We'll start over. Welcome to Grawlix Night. uh, I don't know if you're caught up, Maddie D, on Stranger Things. If you've been watching it, we talked pretty much spoiler free. At least there's no spoilers for anything that matters about the most recent season.
Hmm.
A little bit more in depth on the first 4 episodes. So,
Yeah.
actually,
And then
I
I
don't know
was.
if Maddie D's even into Stranger Things. I would assume so, but
Oh wow.
he
That
said
just-
just finished it 10 minutes ago.
Yep. And then I was saying how we should be amazed because scientists think that a mirror world that interacts with us gravitationally only will help explain the expansion of the universe.
So there is a mirror world, and you're gonna get psychopathically stalked by Freddy Demon.
Freddy Demon Vecna, but with
Yeah.
both eyes and both arms.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, when they say mirror world, I wonder if it is like the upside down where it's like there's a whole nother house and a whole nother this and a whole nother that, or if it's just like the same amount of photons and whatever. It's weird. It's weird to think about, but the maths work.
Does
I mean, if we're applying like, so Maddie D asks if Mirror, Jesse, and Randy don't have beards. If we're applying like Star Trek Mirror World, like if we're doing those rules, I guess they'd have to be clean shaven, right? Like they'd just be like, or it would be just a goatee,
right? I was gonna say
right? Because it has
because
to be a goatee, right?
have we decided if we are in the darkest timeline? Because if we're going community darkest timeline rules, if this is the darkest timeline, we have goatees and we kind of do, but we not really. We have beards.
Right. We have beards, right? So
If we were in if the mirror world was the darkest timeline, we'd just have goatees.
I feel like we just have a soul patch.
That is truly the
That would-
darkest.
that's
of
dark.
dark
That
timelines.
is the darkest.
Yeah, that's a good.
I don't
point.
even want to think about it, how dark that is.
No one.
I think
does.
in the darkest timeline, I'd have a beard.
Yes, no, just a soul patch.
just a
So,
soul
right,
patch.
right.
That's dark.
But you have to shave your beard into the soul patch. So yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It still works. Yeah,
but you choose to do that because whoa,
because you're evil,
yeah.
dark.
That's one thing. Thinking about the Upside Down, like they might get into some of the mechanics of it a little bit later in this season. Just saying.
Oh, okay.
But I'm
Yeah,
fascinated
I kind of
and
hope so
confused.
because like the way that it's working now is just so surface. Like they don't even mention it, other
Right.
than they were like, "Is there a bunch of floaty stuff?" I'm like,
Right,
no, not
right.
really any floaty stuff at all.
Oh yeah, I mean no, they don't go. There's no Upside Down in this. I haven't seen this. Every time I've seen something, Melanie's like, "Well, does this happen?" I was like, "I don't know. I've never watched this." But they talk because when you go over there, like there's the house, there's
Yeah.
cars and stuff. It's clearly like a weird, overgrown, funky version of the real world.
Right.
But by that logic, there should be cars driving around, even if the people aren't there. Like, how do those objects get there? They should be like, if they mirror what's going on in the world, there should always be objects moving around.
Yeah, it'd almost be like was it Link, the SNES one, Zelda: Link to the Past or whatever, where you'd go into this shadow universe and then you'd have to move something around and it would affect things in the real universe. Seems like you could just mess with the Upside Down like that and just be
Right.
like, I'm just gonna park my car right here so that when I go there, I'll have a car.
And even like, yeah, like, and people are always moving. The cars are always driving. It should just seem as busy there
Mhm.
as it does here. There just wouldn't be people, right? But that's not the case. It's always very still there, except for creatures.
Oh, okay, I see. Maddie D's got an interesting theory on that it's like the Langoliers. And they're
Right.
just outside of time.
But
And there's monsters coming to eat it all.
Yeah. Yeah, probably.
even the
Cool.
It's
Langoliers,
Demogorgon. They just eat time. And ashes, I guess. Well,
once you throw like the possibility of not, it's kind of, it's not really time travel, but kind of like that aspect, it makes it worse because
sure.
do things should still be moving. Or if it's like, yeah, but this is the car from, this period. Well, when does the car from 2 minutes from that period get there? Like, are they going to stack on each other? Where does the
No
other
way,
one go?
dude. We set up the car and we set up the gun.
Yeah.
It all comes to, listen, Bill and Ted,
Bill and Ted, yeah.
they nailed it. I didn't mean to highlight that again. Sorry.
I guess you did steal your dad's keys, dude.
Yeah.
They got to figure it out.
Well, maybe that's just maybe it's not so much that it's like a model, like there's a model, and they're like, you know what, reset this now because they put up a new church in town or something, you know.
Well, and likewise, it's not a perfect model because it is overgrown and crappy.
Yeah.
It seems like everywhere there's gigantic power line. What do they call them?
Like Transformers.
Yeah, that are all like busted, and I get that that's a cool image, but like I've seen the town. I don't see those everywhere.
Right.
Why?
Right.
Anyway,
Things just decay in the Upside Down, apparently.
decays super fast.
And there's no trees really, and trees will hide that stuff pretty good.
It's true.
I love trees because they're good for the world, but sometimes I hate trees because I'm like, I want to be able to see over there, and I can't because of all these stupid trees.
Right.
It's been plaguing man for years. I want to see over there, but there's trees in the way. Why
Yeah.
did we plant all these trees over there?
Yeah, and half the time you go through the trees to try and see it, and then you can't because there's still more trees in the way. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Sounds like-
Can't see the tree for the forest.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
beat me to it. You beat me to it. Oh man, I don't have anything else. I feel
No,
like I
but-
don't have anything else.
We need to decide when
Oh,
and what
yes.
we're gonna do for our cage match or whatever we're calling it.
Is we should do Pig if it's still on Hulu.
I'm game because I haven't seen that at all. And I've
Yeah.
been
Okay.
just totally, like, the whole concept of it is just, like, kind of great and bizarre.
But I have no idea what to
Pair with it.
team it with. So maybe that I will make a post about it. What other Nick Cage goes with Pig? And if you've seen Pig, don't necessarily say why because we haven't. Don't give us spoilers for
Right.
Pig. But if you have another Nick Cage movie that would be a great pairing, add it. Maybe we'll do a poll or something. But we'll start with Pig.
Try to make
do
it
another
something that's easy to get. Like, Wild at Heart is not easy to find.
Right. You're right. I have a list. I still have that list that I come up with. I don't know if it's still relevant because it was like 2 months ago that we did that. We did the episode where we're like, we're gonna start Nicolas Cage episodes.
Right.
2 months ago. But I have a list, so I'll post the list, and where everything's at, I'll make posts. I've just been so unplugged from really everything, social media. Like I have Electronic Media Collective Network guys. They're like, hey man, is there something wrong? You haven't been posting. I haven't seen any posts on the EMC page. I'm like, no, it's cool. I've just been busy and distracted and neglectful. But it's like I've been so unplugged from social media stuff for the most part. So I will.
That
try to
sounds
be
like the
better about
best problem to have.
it. It's kind of great, but also not. It is, but
Sure.
like there's things. I've established that there's things I have to do, so I have to do these things. And one of those things is posting Nick Cage stuff. So I will do that. I'll post a list, and I will put up a poll or something, or at least a post in facebook.com/group/Grawlix podcast as to where you can give us suggestions for what would go with Pig.
Bad Lieutenant.
Maddie D says, "Are there any other Nick Cage movies with a single name title?" There are, and it
Like
seems
the
like
Knowing or
knowing when you get into his like, I gotta pay
Jujitsu.
tax. That
Yeah.
I feel like that's got to pair some better with something though, something else maybe.
My brain immediately went to Face Off because there's that scene where John Travolta, who is actually Nicolas Cage, is Castor Troy, is like you cut him and he'll bleed out like a stuck pig or something like that. Like
Right.
that's the line that goes to my brain, but like that's probably the only connection to pigs at all.
You know, it's so funny. Like Nicolas Cage doesn't even play that character for most of the movie,
Right.
but when he
Right.
does,
Oh
Woo!
yeah, it's like
he plays it big.
yeah.
So,
I could eat a peach for hours.
Oh man.
So no promising that we're gonna do that next week, but this month we will do a Nicolas Cage episode for sure. And in case you forgot the deal, it's a GCU episode, so we're gonna do 2. We're gonna discuss what we thought of them, and then we're gonna put them together in unholy matrimony. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
Well,
But
it's
that's-
that line from the new movie. It's like, it's horrendous. How much do you want for it?
right. Okay, so Jesse, you got anything to mention before we go?
I don't know.
Me either. I have music coming out this month, but I'm not sure when. I'm desperately trying to get my next music video done so I can release them around the same time. The music video is coming together great. It's taking a while. It's a lot more linear and narrative and less experimental looking than the last one, but that also there's still a lot of AI animation to it, but also like 3D animation and characters and action. So that's like
Oh yeah, that changes things quite a bit.
changes the workflow considerably. I can't
Sure.
just like, blah, 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 generate this, and like
Sure.
I actually have to make things and then be like, whatever.
Sure.
This is Grawlix. Nobody cares about that. It's cool. You're gonna like it. It's got sci-fi stuff.
There you
guys
go.
will love it. Otherwise,
I guess the only other thing is I did get one of those Mr. B boxes that we were talking about with Pete Mitchell. Like I bought in on that.
Right,
and,
right.
And it arrived. It was awesome. So like
A B
it was
box?
like $50 for his Mr. B collector's box, and the collector's box is pretty great. I've kind of disassembled it a little bit, but like the box itself. Sorry, as I talk away from my mic, the box itself is super cool. Like he put his B character on the box. It's super cute.
It is cute.
And each of the boxes comes with a hand-painted Mr. B. I've already got hung up, so I can't get that down. But like, it comes with like an enamel pin or a plastic pin, which I've got put up somewhere. It comes with a button, and then he hand makes these pins too. Like he has this ceramic pin in yet another cute little box.
Mm-hmm.
That is containing this little bee pin that he made out of clay or Sculpey.
Cool.
Super duper cute.
So it's just a box of cute, basically.
Yeah, but it's like it's chock full. That's the thing. It's like I
Chock
was just
full
like,
of
wow,
cute.
man. It's got this phone pop thing. I don't need it, but yeah, super duper cute.
Yeah.
Behave. And they've got like it comes with like 2 sets of postcards.
Oh,
That,
cool.
I mean, like legit postcard sets. So there's
Whoa.
this one, and then there's another one, and he's got like a bigger postcard that's got rounded corners that's kind of in a watercolor style.
Oh.
Mhm.
Yeah, so super fun, and like $50 might be kind of a big drop, but not for like original art, and then like it's just brimming with swag. So that was fun. It's not really a me thing, but I did mention it, so I guess that's kind of an update.
Next week, Pete Mitchell cast.
Yeah. Welcome back to the Pete Mitchell cast.
Not affiliated with
Mitchell
or endorsed
Minute.
by the Mitchell Minute.
the Mitchell Minute. Yeah.
Not affiliated or endorsed by Pete Mitchell.
Right. Our views and opinions may not be those of Pete Mitchell's. In fact, I can guarantee you they're probably not. But
We've already decided Pete Mitchell is basically us from the better timelines.
oh, did I tell you? Did I tell you? Okay, so Borderlands. Have you played any of the Borderlands games?
I'm familiar with. I have
Okay.
one or two of them that I got for free at some point.
Well, in the second Borderlands game, there is a D&D DLC, like Tiny Tina, and she does like a D&D campaign, but it's still just Borderlands. It's like a skin, like putting a skin on Borderlands kind of thing.
Right.
Well, they released a new one called Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, and it's essentially, instead of just making it a DLC, that's the whole game. The whole game is that, right? And Critical Hit is in it. So one of Pete's songs is utilized in the game, and so
Nice.
he's been doing some cool stuff, kind of connected, like it's reinvigorated that
Nice.
part of things. Like, remember, we had him on the podcast to talk about the webcomic he was going to do connected to Critical Hit. And so now he might do like a mini EP or something with D&D theme songs, kind of like he's done with his zombie theme stuff. So
Nice.
Yep. One of those overachievers that makes me feel bad.
right. I know. It's just like, man, I could do this. I could make a cool box too. I'm not going to.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. You won't, but
I'm
you
not
could.
going to. Oh, dude, he's even got like zombie wrapping cellophane,
Whoa,
like custom made like gift paper.
that's cool.
It's incredible.
This is money. Somebody,
Right?
Man, I was thinking about that, like, especially since like I followed a bunch of various people when I got into the AI art stuff, because there's people doing cool stuff with it, but it's so like intertwined in an annoying way with NFT art and the
sure.
NFT art scene. Not to crap
Sure.
on them, but I don't really care for it because like NFT drops, 0.35 Ethereum bidding starts at whatever, and it's like, if you want to support artists, that's fine. And I know there's a lot of people that are just like low effort making a buck, but there are people legit, like good artists putting out cool stuff. But I'm like, I'd rather like drop a cool package of stuff like that, something like that,
Yeah.
like a. And I get like, the point is, it's not physical; it's a digital thing. You make money off digital
Sure.
art. But I don't know, man. Stuff like that is way cooler to me than having your name associated with an artwork on the blockchain. Like, I'd rather.
Well,
have
and
package
even
of
if this
cool
is like kind of it's not his most complicated art, it's like it's a really easy to draw cartoon B, but he's done it so many different ways, and it's so apparent in this package that like he's taken this theme and he's really explored it, and now here you go, here it all is.
Yeah, that's cool. It's like, yeah, here's it. It's kind of like an imprint or a mini brand or whatever. Here's this cool
Yeah.
like this character in this thing, this themed. It's a themed work.
And it's
But
all based on a song that he wrote for the first album. So
Right. Super cool. Yeah, I dig that.
Yeah.
But I'm also like, I love that idea of like making artwork based on a song. It's like it's not really connected, but kind of.
Well, that's kind of what I meant when I was saying overachieving. And there's another guy that we interviewed once that was similar, or at least one, maybe two, where it's like not just like, this is my art, I sing. It's like, this is my art, I sing, and I write, and I make video games, and I whatever, and they're all interconnected, and it's like a whole world.
I feel like
Right.
that was John Mueller with his Oink stuff, because then he
Yeah.
had
Yeah,
a
he
video
was one of them.
game and he
Develop
was
a video game, like
Yeah.
yeah. I love that stuff. I love it.
Me too.
I'm all about that. I just that takes a lot of that takes attention. Like that takes a
Yeah.
long attention span.
Like I said, overachievers. Meh.
And it's hard to not like, because I'll do stuff like that. Like I was making different art, not just like that, but like I was making different artwork based on songs from the last album. But I'm like, but I kind of need to make the new album and just put the new album out. And like,
Sure,
that's
yeah.
old stuff now.
Right,
Mhm.
right.
But I like that Pete is like he'll reach back to like
Oh yeah.
here's stuff inspired by a song on the first album from
Yeah.
way back. So that's,
Oh yeah, he recreated his Sweep the Leg T-shirt, and it's not like he did it for season 1 of Cobra Kai. He waited until like season 4, and he's like, "Oh, here's my Sweep the Leg shirt."
right. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You couldn't just
So-
make the song, huh? You got to design a shirt. You got to write comic books. You got to sell
Yeah.
a package of. You got to sell a B box. Like
The
what is
B
this?
box, the B box. Yeah, he's a beatboxer, a B-boxer.
Yeah, I dig it.
Oh, by the way, support Grawlix podcast. You can go and buy some of our merch, or you can go and buy a T-shirt from one of our affiliate links, or you can all those things.
Yeah.
Right. Grawlixpodcast.com. GRAWLIX podcast.com. There will be links to all that stuff there. Affiliate links to Humble Bundle. You can go to Strangers with T-shirts, which is totally still an alive brand. It's just sleeping. And
Mhm.
I'm sorry. I can't get through an episode without burping on the mic now. Even if you didn't hear it, that's what happened.
Oh, jeez, Rick, quit it! Here you are. You're just ruining the show.
I can't do it. That's it.
It's
All right,
it's a
Jesse.
condition, Morty. Just get over it. You'll be fine.
Okay. Well, yeah, let's get out of here. This has been long.
Yep.
Thanks, everybody, for listening. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Maddie D, thanks for joining us. Hey.
Yep.
Hit that play button. Hit that little timeline thing and switch back. Go back about an hour. and 45 minutes. You can just pretend like every time we talk to Savannah, we're saying
really
Matt.
talking to you.
We're really talking to you. Yeah.
In fact, all future viewers and listeners, every time we say Matt or Savannah, just insert your name there.
You're a cat dancer in our heart.
That's right. That's right. All right. Yeah, I'm glad you could be here too, Maddie D.
Yeah.
I felt bad last week. We skipped last week, and I had known for like a day. Jesse had stuff to do. He mentioned it the night before. I forgot to post. It's like 8:30 ish, and Matt's like, "Are you guys
Oh,
gonna
no.
have a stream?" And I was like, "Oh my god."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh man, of course it'd be one of the Matt's got a lot of stuff going on, so." Yeah, I like to do the streams if he's available, but it's when he's available is when we don't do streams. So, we need to get Maddie D on here.
Yeah.
We need to go
It's
on a
time
Maddie
for it.
D
We
show.
need a guest spot. We haven't done one of those in a while.
We got a spot with your name on it, Matt. Actually, you could join us anytime. Just saying, anytime you want to. You want to talk about some Nick Cage?
Ooh, appealing.
He's like, I want to talk about Manowar. How about that?
Exo Man of War. Wasn't that the last poll list thing that we never got to? Yeah,
Yes,
that's right.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I know it was his too. All right. With that, thanks everybody. Have a great weekend. Take it easy. You're great.
You're great. You're the best around.